On this adventure, we are going to Ash Meadows National Wildlife Refuge, which is pretty close to our home here in Pahrump. Ash Meadows National Wildlife Refuge was named after the many ash trees described in expedition notes from 1893. It is a haven for wildlife, especially in ancient rare fish, plants, snails, and insects. Water bubbles up from underground into clear spring pools as silvery blue and grayish green pupfish dart between the swaying strands of algae. Pebbled streams gurgle from small hillside springs, sheltering tiny beetles and snails. The refuge provides habitat for at least 24 plants and animals found nowhere else in the world. 4 species of fish found here and 1 plant species are currently listed as endangered. This concentration of indigenous life distinguishes Ash Meadows as having a greater concentration of life found only in one location than any other local area in the United States, and the second greatest in all of North America. Like most other locations with water in this region, Ash Meadows' very first inhabitants were Southern Paiute and Timbisha Shoshone American Indians. In an otherwise very dry climate, the natural spring-fed pools of Amargosa Valley were a life-giving resource and played a vital role in the very act of survival. The water arriving at Ash Meadows is sometimes called fossil water because it is believed to have entered the underground water system thousands of years ago and is still flowing beneath the surface as part of a massive underground waterway. Not only could the first inhabitants of Ash Meadows use the springs and surrounding marshes as a food and water source, but they could survive off other big game animals that were drawn to the oasis too. Like this water, it's warm. I could sit in it or soak in it. Nice.
Walk with me. Let's leave the past behind. Walk with me. There's something else.
Point of Rock Springs consists of several sparkling pools enclosed by trees and bushes. At the base of exposed cacti-covered limestone terraces near the east side of the refuge. The largest is named King's Pool. King's Pool was named after Charles King, who lived in a stone house near the spring. He may have been the first to bring a herd of cattle to Ash Meadows around 1873.
Blue is the sky, like the color of your eyes. Blue.
You may ask, why are there holes in the limestone? They are not old fence posts or dinosaur footprints, but the place where Native Americans ground mesquite beans into flour. The whole seed pod was ground up into a powder with a blunt, sturdy piece of mesquite or suitable rock in this depression that you see here. Traditionally, Native peoples collected and used a wide variety of plants in this region for food, medicine, clothing, tools, and many other things. Today, tribal members still have a strong interest toward the care and stewardship of these plants and retain the rights to gather on their ancestral lands.
With me down the road, there's sunshine. Let's make footprints in the sand. Let's make miracles come hold my hand. Let's find something new. Let's make footprints in the sand. Let's make miracles come hold my hand. Let's find something new. Me and you.
Devil's Hole is a 40-acre detached site from Death Valley National Park. In 1952, the fascinating desert pupfish was discovered within Ash Meadows. It is the only place on Earth where the Devil's Hole desert pupfish lives. It is found within the submerged labyrinth-style cave system at Devil's Hole. Visitors can still catch a glimpse from a fenced-off tunnel within 50 feet of Devil's Hole. The hole is a sheer-sided cavity in the rocks about 30 feet deep and forms the entrance to a flooded cave system. But it's not very interesting to look at and not so well signposted, perhaps as tourists are not really meant to visit here. On July 6, 2021, monsoonal rains at Ash Meadows National Wildlife Refuge triggered a rare flash flood at Devil's Hole, depositing mud and rocky debris in the pool. 2 days after the flood, a magnitude 8.2 Chignik earthquake struck the Alaskan peninsula. Despite the epicenter being more than 2,300 miles away, the earthquake caused a seiche that redistributed some of the flood debris. There are pictures here by the USGS, and the gauge showed how water levels fluctuated with the event.
Hi, my name is Mike Bauer. I'm the manager here at Meadows National Wildlife Refuge. And it might look like I'm up to something awfully fishy here today at Crystal Spring. Um, Fishing is not allowed on the refuge, but we are out here doing our best to control green sunfish, which is an invasive fish that was introduced to the refuge a long time ago. And they occasionally make their way up here into our pupfish habitats, and they have quite an appetite, so they eat a lot of our pupfish. So for conservation of our native fishes, we do our best to control things like green sunfish. So green sunfish is one of our focuses right now, but we have a whole bunch of aquatic invasive species that find their way onto the refuge and make life tough for our native fishes. So I would encourage everybody to please avoid introducing any of your aquarium fishes into our spring systems, where they make an awful lot of trouble for our native species. And come see us out here at Meadows.
So this is your bait.
Yep, these are also invasive species. We've got several crayfish in here, which is a red swamp crayfish, which is an introduced species as well. It's also a problem for our native fishes. And then these two are sailfin mollies, which were also introduced out of somebody's aquarium. So they're a problem because they eat the same foods as our native pupfish. See him down there?
I see your crayfish.
Sunfish?
I don't see a sunfish yet.
Oh,
There's one.
there's one.
See that?
There it is.
I don't see it.
Oh,
He's a little small for the crayfish.
yeah.
He was about this.
Yeah.
Definitely a green sunfish. Though.
Well, multi-meal for dinner. Known as the last of the desert frontiersmen, Jack Longstreet was called a hero by some and a criminal by others. He bounced from town to town, making ends meet as a prospector, rancher, saloon keeper, trailblazer, and even hired gunman for the Tonopah stage. He was feared by many, but succeeded very well in the region because of his companionship with the American Indian tribes throughout the area. Longstreet lived in Meadows for several years, hiding and living in a cabin he built near a spring that now bears his name. Longstreet Spring is a cauldron spring. It flows at 16 gallons per minute and is cooler in temperature at 78 degrees as compared to warmer springs such as Crystal Spring, which is 86 degrees. Approximately a mile away lies another spring, which is deep and clear, called Rogers Spring. Fairbanks Spring, a rarely visited beautiful spring, is reached by walking a 2.5 to 3 mile round trip hike on a rough dirt road that begins at the end of the road near Rogers Springs. It is located at the base of low hills on the northern edge of the refuge. Fairbanks Spring Pool is surrounded by arrowhead bushes and mesquite trees. It flows into a stream ending in a broad, marshy area which provides habitat for birds and other wildlife, including bobcats.
Walk with me. Let's leave the past behind. Walk with me. There's something else we need to find. Say you'll go, don't make me wait. There's no need to hesitate. Let's make footprints